I have to make a document in order to get out of here, only grab it.
No, I'll be good about. If that, so go after you.
I see.
You're close.
Shoot the guy who run the
first.
Down there to outrun the bigger.
When you get
Did you write these, John?
Planning board went over. Well, the planning board went over this. The other one.
Yeah. There was a lot of lies.
This is what we talked about regularly.
Right, yeah.
I don't go for it, immediate.
I signed it.
Well, the special permits, really nothing happens until the state approves it, right? I mean, that's a, the state approves sales.
No.
No, state though.
I mean, until they approve, then give someone a license.
Oh,
I mean, this will
as
be in
far
effect.
as far as. the-
Right, this will be in effect, but.
Yeah,
it
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything. until the state
exactly.
gives a license.
As far as that's concerned.
Then they tell them, okay, but here's where you can do it.
I know.
Oh, and my dad.
But I find out about it.
I said it on computer.
I'm not.
Night Island.
Read that.
We were in the north.
Oh.
Want me to reset the clock? If you want to reach out there, you know, the computer says.
That was it, Ron.
Yeah.
No fun.
It's 7:01 on the computer, but we always go by.
I
the
asked you
clock
if you
because
reset the
People
clock.
walk in, so you started early. And I always forget about it, you know.
Yeah, until
I
I.
don't get here until the next
No,
meeting.
I don't.
No, we're just.
Right.
Who is the actor? No, I.
So they, this is what they sent to the flag.
Oh, yeah.
They want us to reopen their website. So.
Yeah, that's what we've been trying to force them to do that for the past year. Come during the church back.
Except they're asking for, well, we can talk about that. Yeah. I can start, I would.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order, what says town board for June 14, 2023. Kathy, call the roll, please.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
Here.
Mr. Wilbur.
Here.
Mr. Ziegler.
Here.
Mr. Fisher.
Here, whatever, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 2, I need a motion to accept the minutes of May 10th and May 24th.
So move. Second.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis. Mr. Wilbur.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 3 is resolution authorizing payment of claims.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Wilbur.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 4 is report to town office.
I move these reports be received and put on file.
Second.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis. Mr. Wilbur.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 5 is correspondence and item 6 is a motion to receive correspondence.
I move these correspondence be received and put on file.
Second.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis. Mr. Wilbur.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 7 says audience participation. Anybody who would like to speak on anything that's not on the agenda, please step forward and state your name and address, and the board will listen. Anyone. Okay, moving on. Item 8 is a public hearing regarding rezoning industrial park zone to industrial manufacturing zone. John?
Motion to dispense with reading of the public notice.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis. Mr. Wilbur.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
I'll open a public hearing with regard to amendment of the zoning ordinance. We have an industrial park zone that was formed many years ago with a variety of restrictions that really haven't been kept. This was done at the behest of the Schwung County Planning Board at the time. And so this is a request to rezone that industrial park zone into our industrial and manufacturing zone that we currently have in existence. So anyone wishing to speak with regard to this matter, please step forward. State your name and address, and upon being recognized, make your statement. Anyone wish to speak at all? Anyone at all? Motions in order to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Okay.
Mr. Rubko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Wilbur.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 9 is discussion of possible action regarding rezoning industrial park zone to industrial manufacturing zone. Gentlemen, do you have any questions?
No.
Fine. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Rubko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis. Mr. Wilbur.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 10 is discussion of possible action regarding prohibiting sticker stores or similar. That,
Yeah, we've held the public hearing, we've heard a number of people, we've held the notice. This basically mirrors our moratorium, which ends this month with regard to the sticker stores and gifting and such, so we can, as we discussed, I put in there, and I don't know if we maybe don't want to say that. But the town board is of the current opinion that the state of New York, the OCM and local law enforcement have not, since the passage of MRTA, and will not enforce MRTA as against entrepreneurs using what has been termed a loophole or gray area of the law to open so-called sticker stores, or have embarked upon sticker sales in their current or newly opened storefronts, which profess to sell the customer a sticker or other product at a price then accompanied by a gift of cannabis. I leave it up to the board whether they want to put that in as written or.
I thought it was kind of curious that that was in there, but I think you're.
There was one of those things where you wrote how you felt, but this time I left it in.
I don't think it needs to be there.
Okay, we can amend that with. Without that, but that's the end. That's the maybe we can save that for the resolution. But you could make a motion to amend, to remove paragraph 2 of the letter of intent.
So moved. And we,
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Rubko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Wilbur.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye, and then a motion.
so I got a motion to adopt it as amended.
As amended.
do we have a second to that? Sounds good.
Mr. Rubko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Wilbur.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 11 is discussion of possible action regarding amending retail dispensaries and special use permit zone. John?
This we've talked about at a number of occasions, held a public hearing, the planning board has reviewed it. Basically, we discussed is when they allowed the dispensaries where we wanted them. And we said the obvious place is the business zone. The only limitations they will have by state statute will be within schools and churches like liquor licenses are. The special permit procedures, we changed quite a bit. We removed most of the special permit we removed all the special permit procedures from the zoning board of appeals, because most of special permits now involve site plans, so there's either no purpose for them, or the purpose could be handled right at the planning board level, which is doing those things at this point in time. However, the special permit required for a retail dispensary would come to this board. The reason I had it come to this board is that if it goes, a special permit, if it goes to, if it's issued by the zoning board or the planning board, has to have a menu of the items that have to be considered and determined in order to issue the special permit. However, since the town board is the legislative board of the town, they can issue the conditions or means of implementation on each one. So I left those for that because there may be, even though we have business zones, where something might end up locating might be in an area where we might want something more around the fencing. You might want, this, that. So I left it for this board to deal with those issues. So other than that, it's it changes zoning, it changes the special permit procedure quite a bit.
So A through,
We did away with some too.
so these actually are some of the things we could say, okay, they don't have to do that where they're located. I mean, because this one specifically says a wall, fence or barrier.
But that's only
So-
for, no, that's only for used car lots.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
all right.
yours is very simple, it just says you do it. And then you can put it in, right?
And I know they spent a lot of time, so I wouldn't second guess what the planning board. I think it's fine.
Is it? Maybe I missed something. PUD too, is it changing on
No.
that?
No,
That's where this board can add things in.
right, yeah, yes, any amendments to a planned unit development would come to this board, but this has nothing to do with that. These are already items that are permitted in the zones, but require some sort of special permission, like we said retail dispensary can locate in the business zone. However, it needs special permission from the town board.
Okay, I've always liked the PUD because, well, the plaza was built into one. That's why it looks so good. Better than others.
Anybody got any other questions, members of the board?
So John, once we pass this tonight, that means the violations. They will go into effect immediately, correct?
Yeah,
The amount of,
yes, yeah, we'll get it published and then we'll be all set with moving on, though. Next time around, we can also violate under the ordinance.
So I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Code change.
Mr. Repko,
Aye.
Mr. Lewis, Mr. Wilbur,
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler,
Aye.
Mr. Diggins.
Aye. Item 12 is discussion possible action regarding Highview Circle, Town Law Article 12A, forming a lighting district. What happened is the president up there, Steve, I can't think of his last name. Right, Steve Wright came to us, 3 out of the 4 lights on Highview Circle were out. We had no records of any lights on Highview Circle that the town took over when we did the conversion to LED lighting. We had no records of all that. So in the process, I went over to NICEAG and talked to the customer service, and she was gonna look into it, and I mentioned Gary Archambault's name, because he had worked with us on the lighting district. And based on the review of lights, Highview Circle and the town of Horses, they were never built for them. They built the thing, the developer put them in, they never formed a district. Nobody ever got billed for the lights. They're not, they're ours now because we took over the lights for the town of Horses when we converted. So in order for them, if they want to keep the lights, we have to formulate a lighting district, correct, Jen?
Yes, yeah, because we want somebody to charge for it. We don't need the whole town paying for those lights.
Will it be made into LED?
Eventually,
They will.
if they do not want the district, and correct me, I don't know what the percentages of voting residents have to vote, they have to carry a petition. If they do not want the lighting district, then the lights will come down.
And I think we have to order more decorative light. More heads for those, so.
I have accounted for those in what would be our extra or our surplus on hand lights, but because they were the decorative lights, which were short to begin with. And in 2 emails to the installation people, I've requested the cost for those lights so that we'll know the approximate charges to be started in the tax district.
And just to let you know, NICEAG is not back charging on anything because how many years has that been up there?
70.
But we're not sure how long 3 out of the 4 haven't worked anyway, so.
Well, no, that didn't go in, and I moved out of my house up there in '86. They didn't go in until.
Yeah, it
after
was still his
86.
driveway, the road.
Yeah,
I think he pulled the plug on the 3,
so,
I could be wrong.
So we will get in touch with Mr. Wright in the neighborhood. Once we,
what the action we need tonight is just a directive we gotta come up with a pricing plan for what is gonna be put in, how much it's gonna cost to put in what we have to put in. And an estimate of what the annual cost will be to them. And once we do that, and then I gotta get the old subdivision map out so that we can draw a description for the subdivision that's gonna be part of what's gonna be charged. And then we can bring that back to the board to accept and issue an order establishing the district, which will be a 12A district. So the board's not gonna accept a petition before we move forward on this from them. However, it will be subject to a permissive referendum, so if any of them don't like it, they can pass a petition to bring it to a vote. And to bring it to a vote only requires 5% of the assessed value. The total assessed value up there is 4 million. So 5% would be 200,000, and each of the houses are assessed at more
So
than
one person,
200,000.
took
So
12.
one person can bring it to a vote, yes. Yeah.
Is there any way we go down to Do It Center and get some LED lights, take these, unscrew them and put those in?
we could buy them, the little caps.
And that's all nice.
Didn't that tell nice?
So too late now, but yeah, we can, all right, so
All
we
right,
just
we'll
need a
throw-
motion to. move
We just need
forward.
motion to direct, yeah,
I'll make the motion.
and we'll just write it up to direct, get the things done.
Mr. Ripko,
Aye.
Mr. Lewis, Mr. Wilbur,
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler,
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye, and there will be a public hearing too before we establish.
Item 13 is a referral to the planning board. PUD amendment request of Journey Church at 116 Breesport Road. And it's, they want to open the whole thing, but they also want to include a 1,500-foot daycare center called Journey Daycare.
15,000.
Or 15,000.
That's really just further information. Because they can do that without the PUD.
Right. They want to get their,
How can they do that without the PUD?
It's an allowed use in the zone, educational uses.
So then I don't see where we attack on anything, because I'm not inclined to reopen that. I was surprised at the letter saying he could have continued to.
Well, he's
So
saying-
open, he could continue, your letter that said he could continue to operate illegal stuff as long as he sent a letter saying, I'd like you guys to.
The reason for that is that. When somebody has, yes, they are operating illegally, no question. And we started after them, we brought them in today, they were in today on
I wish they would have.
Noise
Tonight, but
they were noise complaints, they were in today in court. So we can, that's one of the things we can deal with, because we'd be dealing with the concerts and stuff between planning board and then ultimately this board, so we can deal with the noise issues and that type of thing, no matter how. But once even though somebody is illegal, once they make an application, we are stayed from doing anything, so we can't stop it and then consider it and then ultimately approve it. We can't get them to change that, and that's just from old education, I'm coming up with that, but we've been trying for 6-8 months or more to get them to come in. So that we can get it back to this board to make a
But the
PUD decision.
reason that stuff wasn't approved to begin with is it's way too broad. He lists about 20 things that he wants to do.
Yeah.
Come back to us and say, we want to have a barber shop.
Well, that's what we're,
The
that's,
specific things he wants us to reopen the application and approve everything he listed there, which he may or may not ever
well,
do.
no, that's not gonna happen. He's just making the application request. Now it's up to the boards, planning board and town board to ultimately say, okay, you're gonna do a fitness center. What is it gonna be? Is it gonna be a commercial? Will we allow that? How's it gonna operate? How's your concert center? These things are all part of your planned unit development and development of that. I figure, you're gonna take 3 months to figure this all out. But no, he originally, as you know, he originally figured that since he put in a letter, he was approved for anything he wanted to do, which we didn't approve him for anything. We approved him
But he
for,
also put in here somewhere that he's assuming that, that we're just gonna open it back up and everything he officially,
Right, basically, that's what he's saying. is-
that's what he's assuming, but that's not necessarily what you guys are gonna ultimately do.
It's gonna, tonight we want to refer to the planning board. To do the review
Yeah,
and
I
everything
mean,
else.
I don't expect, I don't expect he's gonna be operating the way he's operating after the planning board, and this board gets done with it, let's put it that way. Yeah,
so. John, we're referring, there's a request that we referring it to the planning board.
it's merely
Explain to me one more time.
it's a ministerial request. You guys have actually, all he's doing is saying, I want a change of zoning. So it comes to this board first to refer to the planning board, because this board will get it in the end to either approve with conditions or deny. So that's why it's here at this point,
To refer. to
because
them
it's
to review
it's
it.
merely an application.
It's just a application, so that's not gonna open the.
You're making no approval. By referring it, you're making no approvals. No,
We won't do anything until it comes back from the planning board, and then we do what we want.
yeah. Right, then you can,
Can we, I'd like to only look at the things he's currently doing.
Yeah.
Just what's in there now, come back, go to the planning board and say, I'd like approval to do the barber shop, the fitness center. Just the things
Well,
he's
that-
doing, I don't wanna include all that
well, I
other
think
stuff.
that's one of the things the planning board's gotta do is sit them down, and say, look.
What are you
We're not
actually
gonna,
doing?
we're not gonna approve, well, some of this stuff doesn't need any approval, but yeah, we're not gonna, where's that?
The original letter.
Yeah, the
This
original
one.
letter, yeah. But we're not gonna just, as he thought, just take this and have. Well, of course, you got counseling services. Counseling services part of the
Which
church.
we approved, I mean, that was all
Counseling
approved.
services part of the church. Programs, offices, events without limitation. Seminars, conferences, concerts, educational services, IMANR events, programs, church. Many of those things, just as a church, they can do. But other things that they are doing that we've seen they've done, barbershop, fitness center. Fitness center, a church could probably have a fitness center, probably have a room, but they're charging, running classes. It's a different thing, they've got this cafe. They're opening, they want to open a restaurant over there. I mean, those things all have to come into play. So I think all this is a checklist. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that.
What happened in court today, do you know?
Yes.
Any idea?
Yes, we were in on two complaints at that point in time. They have actually worked on some of that stuff. But I said to them, we're gonna adjourn that. But you gotta understand that as part of this review, one of the things is gonna be the noise and the type of noise. that is coming out of there. I mean,
And,
well, and maybe timing of noise. When we're gonna let you make noise?
and can the planning board have stipulations, okay, if you're gonna have concerts, first you have to do this soundproofing stuff. They can say, you've got to soundproof that.
And we could say that too.
You know, yeah, that can be a recommendation. That'll be, you'll ultimately say it.
The planning board will make the recommendations, thus we'll either say yes or no, we want this. Or,
So, but we really need
Now,
we
what,
don't know how to sound.
Right.
So we would have to hire someone to come in and say, all right,
now,
to soundproof this.
one thing,
what
he
needs to be
one thing he said was, we need to know. It's a moving target, because our noise ordinance doesn't have decibel levels in there at this point in time. So it's a moving target. And they said, we need to know what the target is. As far as decibels are concerned. Chances are. They aren't violating any decibel levels that would. be
It's the
proper.
base, which isn't measured in decibels.
It's measured in frequency.
Right.
Called a vibro nuisance.
It's measured,
Like case
yes,
law.
it's measured in frequency. Instead of the frequencies being like this, they're like this.
What's heard beyond the wall.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
We
So,
had a problem with that, sorry to interrupt you, with boom boxes and cars.
oh, yeah.
And
We all know
alarm and so forth. All right, you can't have it beyond, I don't want to hear it outside your car, what conditions is that?
so basically, right now, tonight, the action we need to take is to refer it to
Refer
the
it,
planning
yeah.
board.
And then input's gotta be through there, and then the planning board will recommend back to here.
What does he, is he, Donnie, you met with him a few weeks ago, does he think, well, I'm gonna get this referred to the planning board, they're gonna approve everything, we'll be good to go?
He-
So it's
he
not
was
just referred to the planning board, I can keep operating 100%.
He was told that when he refers it to the planning board, it's not gonna be like before, you can't make the assumption they're all gonna be approved. There's gonna be things that are gonna come out of that planning board and this board, they're gonna put restrictions on it.
And you told him that.
I told him that. But as far as the operating continue while it's going, I didn't say anything about that, because I wasn't.
And I don't believe we can.
I would like to get this behind us and get this resolved. You don't believe we can put restrictions?
No,
We can.
we'd stop them from doing
Oh.
what they've invested in to do without, until, yeah.
Because one of my thoughts was with the
But I
time,
just
don't do it during the
If
week.
anybody,
And it's done at 10 o'clock on weekends.
I don't know, we stopped we tried to stop the sticker store for doing illegal
Yeah.
stuff. We shut them down.
yeah, well,
Right,
we've actually pulled this operation, just like the sticker store, we can't go in and stop them. We've got to go through the procedure,
And go through court.
yeah.
I don't want to labor this, but when it comes to the planning board, are we allowed to be there?
Yes,
Are we allowed to speak?
you're a person,
You're first.
you are
That
not a
doesn't-
board member,
Well, the one thing that we haven't, that needs to be brought up is, we had complaints right here on the screen. People that live in Maplehurst with the floors vibrating, that's called vibro nuisance. That has to be addressed.
And people on East
Not
Franklin
going, it's
Street.
not decibels, it's vibration.
Sorry.
That's another thing, please don't let that go by.
no, you can have input there like anyone else. The thing you have to be careful of is that, remember, it's gonna come to here. And you don't want to give an indication that you've already made
Your
Preconceived
That's why I'd like
and-
you to make that comment, but.
and
And actually, the planning board, it's up to them whether or not they let anyone speak. The public typically doesn't speak at the planning board.
So-
I just
Only
don't
the
want
people that bring something and
want
act.
somebody to bring it forward.
Well-
That is,
Well, you just sell code.
what we made, Tom wants to speak, he's back there with, but.
I told him it's not on his
It's on the
participation.
agenda. You don't get to talk.
What we'll probably look at to do is. July, August, the planning board. September, we'll hold the public hearing at this meeting, but we will not act. But then if something comes up at the public hearing that seemingly in the recommendations the planning board hasn't dealt with. Then we can say, okay, look, the planning board has an October meeting, the week before us,
We'll throw it back.
take a look at this and see what you think, and then we'll act on in October.
What's
Tom, you want to say something?
Because of the
That's
long-
enough.
because of the longevity of this issue. And several agendas and certainly on a personal level within the town board and this board. I really don't want to see this particular issue go past this board and the planning board to the zoning board of appeals.
It won't.
I do not think that board has the capability of making a determination on this particular issue.
And that's your board.
Yeah, I'm right. Yeah, but it should, because it's, but having been on several of the boards and attending different meetings, this request has been,
I know.
a lot of citizens for our township has been somewhat upset by this issue on both sides.
I agree.
So I need a motion to refer to the planning board.
So moved. Carl seconded.
Second.
So this is negative.
Third,
Huh?
Does it
No,
have to be
no,
a positive
this
or
is
negative?
just for.
No, this could refer, they'll get it back positive. Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis. Mr. Wilbur.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 14 is discussion of possible action regarding the countywide stormwater program intermunicipal agreement. Gentlemen, we've had this contract for years with the county. And now that Nicole is here and we are looking at a price increase. Would you like to speak?
Yeah, so you've had it, the contract with Soil and Water, they had a transition a year ago. It's been shown that our best home would now be with county DPW. So the county would take us over. No matter where we would have went, there would have been a 3% increase. We have, since this organization started, we haven't asked for an increase. And so you guys would be paying. It's a 5.5-year contract,
26,866.25.
yes, with a 3% increase every year. None of the services will change now that we're going to the county. You'll still have Jimmy Joe, the engineer, and the educator. There is a technician position open. They did want to hire a technician during the transition period, but Mark Watts is back and he is doing all the inspections for the foolishness. Until we have the technician.
Just to let you know, before this all took place, when Jessica was still here, I had conversations with her about the increase. Because they hadn't had anything. And also with the storm water, they do the MS4 for us,
Yes.
which we couldn't afford to hire an engineer to do that.
Yeah, so the MS4 permit, it's an unfunded mandate by New York State DEC, it's in as well for the Clean Water Act. There are 6 minimal control measures there. Jimmy Joe handles all the SWIPs, so I know right now he's reviewing the solar farms that are coming to the town of Forsyth. And he is somebody, and I know Matt can attest, he has the town's best interest at heart. And ask any question that he sees is important. And so we also do all the paperwork, all the annual reports for all the MS4s in the county. We are the only MS4 in Region 8 of New York State. They get paid to audit the MS4s. They get paid to audit us, and since we've been up and running, they've audited us 57 times, and we handle that. We work a lot with Marty and Greg.
Yes. And I had no problem when I talked to Jessica long before, we put it in the budget, because just to do the MS4 to hire an engineer would cost us a heck of a lot more money.
Yeah, and that's pretty, I've been to a lot of the town meetings, and that's the general consensus is the services are not readily available because it is so specific, and the price that is charged, you could find
And this is storm water, not soil and water,
that we're.
two separate.
So. And I think it's all a good idea, but you said you worked with Marty and Greg, what do you work with Marty with, or does he
So,
work to help you guys
Greg-
out?
Yep, so Greg with the code, so they need a SWIP, a stormwater pollution prevention plan. They have to give us the designs, and Jimmy Joe reviews them page by page to make sure that they are doing the right stormwater practices. Marty, minimal control measure 6 is good housekeeping, so that would be the DPW facilities. There's a checklist of items that we have to do self audits that we would work with Marty on. I will tell you, there is a new permit coming out. It was supposed to be in 2017. They received 3,200 comments. Went back and said, no, we have to review it again. Brought it back to the floor last January. Again, got so many comments because they're being too prescriptive. Our idea is let the municipalities handle this. We understand what your goal is. Let us do it the way we need to see fit. Because Millport, for example, they are an MS4 as well. They're not as big as the town of Forsyth, so to hold them to the same standard, let them do theirs, and a big thing, good housekeeping with this new permit, so Marty's facility, that is going to be way stricter. And so our job is to help Marty keep in the standards.
Thank you.
So what I need is authorization to sign the contract.
So moved.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Wilbur.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye, and the goal will need the resolution number.
And I can get that tomorrow. I
Yeah.
think.
It's already signed.
Item 15 is discussion possible action regarding mega energy contract expiration. That's due to run out this year. And Mega Energy sent us a notification that the fact that the current wholesale markets are slightly higher than utility pricing for residential accounts has led them not to renew the contracts.
So we don't really have to take action, do we? They're not gonna renew the contract.
They're not gonna
We
renew
don't
the
do anything.
contract. We don't, they will notify it. In fact, letters have already come out. I got a call yesterday, and what it is, when we first went in this, because it saved the communities, the community aggregate saved them so much money. You had to be a NICEAG customer. In order to go into Mega. If you had a subsidiary, you could apply for it. So now, with them not renewing the contract, they're sending letters out, everybody will go back to NICEAG. Okay, the Village of Horseheads Monday night recommended just let it fall, don't recommend anybody, and I'm recommending the same thing. Let it fall back to NICEAG. We're not gonna get involved with Direct Energy, Ambest, global warming, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We're not gonna make any recommendations to the community. They'll go back to NICEAG if they want to change, it's their responsibilities. So do we need to do any action? No, so that's the informational, it's gonna run out. If anybody questions you, they'll go back to NICEAG if they want to change, because it's, NICEAG has a cheaper rate right now.
I don't even know who's doing energy around here.
Constellation put it.
Yeah, a lot of them are, and, okay, item 16 is a resolution authorizing the standard workday and reporting. Jeffy says we gotta do this every so often. We do it every year.
Yeah,
This time of the year.
Yeah, this is just Gary's and Carl's time record. So I make a motion to approve that.
Yeah, they told me we had to put this on the agenda.
Right, so I make a motion to approve those.
Second.
It's their time records.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to review it?
Who seconded that?
Second,
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Wilbur. Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Item 17 is discussion of possible action. Reviewing of resumes for planning board appointments, gentlemen. We have 2 openings on the planning board, and I had 2 resumes, which I gave you copies of. Brenda was just resigned, and Roxanne resigned in April, and was gonna stay until the end of this month. So we have 2 openings, the 2 gentlemen that apply is Ken and this Castro, and Matt wants to call. And I reviewed the resumes, I talked to Tom Stevie and showed him he has no problems, he can work with both of them right now. You know, until they get upset at him or something. No, he has
I
no
looked
problem.
at them, I had no problem.
I had no problem.
So,
So I need a motion to make
So
the
moved.
appointments of Matt
Second.
Mustico and Ken Knight. My condolences. Thank you.
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
Good luck.
In the second. Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Wilbur.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
And Mr. Fisher.
Aye, now Matt's here, what's he gotta do?
Come see me about signing an oath of office that I sent to Chemung County and also the book.
We'll get a hold of.
Tonight, tomorrow?
Can we do it tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm off tomorrow. So.
Perfect.
okay.
And I'll get a hold of Ken too. No conference attendance?
Did you attend the conference, Kathy?
Yeah.
I did. It was very informational, some of it, learned a little bit more about how they want to change some of the elections.
Yeah.
It was good review for some of it, what else? There was a couple of different things I have in my notes to, just double check. We talked again about the folks who, they come in, the citizens who come in and say they're doing a citizen audit. It's still happening a lot all over the place. They talked about that and, they gave us a pamphlet and, kind of how to handle them. But you think we did some of this stuff, put up, restricted area, employees only type of
Yeah.
signs. That was interesting,
Put it at the driveway.
yeah. Yeah, so it was nice.
Parking by permit only.
Don't hit the building.
Oh, that's good. Well worth it. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
yes.
those conferences.
And
are
then I
very
hear,
necessary.
how other tax collectors collect, and a lot of them are school collectors, but I think our program is one of the good ones, even though credit cards and ACH and things can be a little tricky. But from what I hear, some of the troubles they have, I told them I have Williamson Law and I love it.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, that concludes our agenda. Carl, you got anything?
Yeah, I got a couple of things, Danny. What, can you give us, if you have an update on the fire districts? I'm hearing a lot of rumbling about.
You hear a lot of work out there. We met Thursday, Rob Maloney, the mayor of Horseheads, Margaret. The mayor, Smith, mayor of the Heights, and myself. And we're asking the mayor of the Heights what their intentions were. And she had a meeting last night. I have not heard anything. We gave her a couple weeks. I talked to Terry Hannigan, the attorney, and he said we were a lot further than most everybody else. And it would probably cost us maximum anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 to do the work for the fire district, which would be split 2 to 3 ways.
You mean? And then it would be a fire district?
It will be, we're hoping if the timing's right, in 24, but it might be a little delayed. Once Margaret gives us their answer, whether they're in or out. You're gonna hear a lot of grumblings of the people, because Margaret brought up the Robbies. We heard that the guys at Horses are against it. And he goes, yeah, maybe some are, but not, no, most of them are in favor of it. They have a lot of questions that, the questions that are out there is questions we can't answer. Because they wanna know if they go to a district, who's gonna be the fire chief? Well, that's up to the board of fire commissioners. I can't answer that. And right now, nothing's gonna change. It took 3 years for the Corning Joint Fire District to put someone there. They left the stations the same with their station chiefs, so they could start working together. And then, so, hopefully, next week I'll get an answer by the latest of Margaret, and then we'll proceed.
So let's say Margaret doesn't
Go in?
go in, then you guys gotta go back to the drawing table.
No, it'd be just Horses and us, Village of Horses.
Well, it'll come to this board
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Village and
the
town.
village board.
Yeah.
For approval.
Which we've approved going to do the work. It's
So,
just whether-
right, it's a 5,000 or 10,000 to really get the plan together and say, here's the plan, here's how
Well, here's
everything's
what,
gonna work.
here's, you gotta put all the paperwork.
Right.
in. Yeah, and it would incorporate, and it's like we explained to Margaret, it would incorporate the whole town Horses. Okay? Now, the fire district could contract with the portion to the Omar Heights Fire Department for the portion they do now. That's the fire district that would do. Government's out of it. Government's out.
Second question is, Marty reached back to you about the lawnmower.
I talked to him a couple days ago, he still had some pricing he was waiting on, so he's gonna go back on that.
Because the county's buying one too.
No,
right?
that's the problem. I mean, you might be able to answer. Marty said they haven't said definitively yes or no.
Oh, I thought you said that day.
He thought they wanted to buy it. I got it on my desk. It's a,
The county, they aren't even looking until next year.
yeah, so
I mean,
he,
they're looking, but he has to put it in the budget. He won't even know until like October whether they can get it for next year.
so that's where that's at. So nothing's come back to this board yet. Nothing's been purchased or anything. Anything else?
So we'll come back to the board.
Oh, yeah, it's gotta come back. Anything else, Carl?
No.
Gary?
No.
Steve?
I'm good.
Donnie?
Nope.
The only thing I have is July 20th. Right, Carl?
Yes.
July 20th. At Buckley's, which is the Bobcat,
What one?
down on where
Buckley's.
Buckley's, who did that place, the old
The old, John, or, the old beer place.
Coughlin's,
Coughlin.
Coughlin beer place.
Yeah.
He's remodeled that and put everything, he's got Bobcat in there.
Actually,
Bobcat wants to do it.
They want to have a ribbon cutting ceremony July 20th, and they're gonna do
12
lunch,
o'clock, they're
At
gonna
12
do
o'clock.
lunch.
and they invited
All the town.
all the town
planning
board, and I'm gonna give them an email out to the planning board on it. To invite them for the 20th at noon.
You just reminded me something, you just said it, will we get emails on that coming up?
Well, we can email,
Reminder?
yeah, we'll send out a reminder. You
Yeah.
got to email the planning board, let them know. You invited the planning board,
Absolutely.
because they did the work on it. So we'll get
I
that
write it
out
down and
July 20th at noon. On Lake Road, and you can't go next door to Beer World, because I don't know if the beer is any good anymore.
Are they open?
No, they're closed,
Right, that's.
but I don't know if they emptied the store yet.
Yeah, they closed.
Actually, I'm hoping I'm looking out there, it wasn't gonna be out there.
I have nothing else, so I have a motion to adjourn.
Hello.
Second. Second.
Somebody did.
Second.
We all did.
Mr. Ripko.
Aye.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Wilbur.
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler.
Aye.
Mr. Fisher.
Aye. Thank you. And we'll get you that resolution, and you'll be at the final assignment papers. And thanks for being interested in that. No problem.
Thank you.